Hello, everybody. We are back for the second game of BGAK versus TSM. We're currently in ban phase. I'm your caster, Nicholas Hernandez, in-game name Thundoro.
And I'm Henry, in-game name Exploding Duck. We can see that TSM has banned away BGAK's Vladimir. Clearly do not want to face that again. BGAK going for a similar ban strategy thus far as the first round with Bard and Ari.
Yep. I honestly think that at this point, TSM does have to take away some of the high scaling carries of BGAK. We saw that top lane was able to play to the weak side and let the rest of the map kind of really take over the game between the Ashe and the Vladimir. And I wouldn't be surprised if, in addition to the Vladimir, we also see like either an Olaf or Ashe ban to really keep that early pressure from BGAK stifled.
Yeah. And in the interest of scaling back, BGAK again going the Nami makes it a very safe, cushy laning phase for their ADC.
Yep. Now it's left to see if TSM believes truly that the fisherman is better than the fish, and we'll take the Nautilus into that again. Pick. We've got a Braum support
Braum. Perhaps bringing out the Braum Lucian lane that they pulled last night against Big Evil Phoenix. That was highly successful and brought a lot of needed pressure bot.
Yes, I think we'll see that soon. We have the Ori pick coming in for mid, so they might be saving the Lucian pick. They might not even be going for the pick, but it looks like they do want the Ori as a prior pick here before it's banned away and or taken.
Mm-hmm. And the Ori also offers a lot of team fight and utility presence, which TSM was somewhat lacking the last game with the Annie.
Oh, there's the Ashe with the Nami again. Okay, this is going to be interesting to see how TSM plays against it because it's the exact same lane setup from the first game. And I think Nami Ashe is a pretty heavy favored lane usually, but into a Braum, they could run into some problems. Given that Braum has his own form of CC, he can block both the Nami ult and the Ashe ult with his wall.
And the Kassadin comes out into the Orianna. Again, a very heavily scaling pick, much like the Vlad.
It looks like they're just planning to leave mid to his own devices and trust in the fact that given enough time, he will become the carry of this game.
That is true.
Okay, we've got
TSM once again pulling out the fiddle.
I'm actually a little surprised to see the fiddle here, only because I felt that its presence was somewhat lacking in the first game, but that also it could have been due to the Olaf, and there's the ban to make sure it doesn't happen again.
The Olaf was heavily invading the fiddle. At the end of the last game, Josiah and now noted that the fiddle had very little gold income by the end of the game, and the Olaf was heavily poaching his camps.
Yep, just doing Olaf things, man. Okay, we have 2 bans left for BGAK and 1 left for TSM. We still have the top lane and the jungle left to pick for BGAK, and for TSM, the top lane and the ADC left. I'm interested to see. I feel like both might hold their top lane bans to see if they can get potential counter picks. Interesting. Another jungle ban coming in the form of Nocturne, it looks like, for TSM. We don't have word on what the ban from BGAK is. As soon as we figure that out, we'll let you guys know.
Yeah, they hovered Katarina, but there.
Okay. Honestly, like I do think the cat could be a good ban there. It
Well,
would have been a good ban, but they've already picked mid. So I'm wondering maybe like if they think the Ori is being flexed, that's the only reason I could see why they would want to ban the Katarina.
Yeah, and BGAK getting rid of the Jax, which did draw a fair amount of pressure topside. He went even with the Darius through most of the laning phase, but did nearly kill him multiple times.
Yeah, I think the Jax there was good because the hopes were okay. We win this lane, let me snowball, and then I can exert pressure so that like we don't have to take as many team fights because I'll be busy splitting the team. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So only in theory.
Dia Braum
from TSM. I know somebody out there is happy to see it.
Yeah, and especially with the strong Annie mid, that combined with the Jax top would pull enough pressure that then TSM could hopefully play for
the Garen top
but
for BGAK.
Garen blind picked too.
Damn, this is either going to be the big brain Garen, I can crush any lane, or the slightly smaller brain Garen, me press E, me press win.
With the Hecarim though, that's going to be a lot of ganks once he gets onto the map. So uh, that's probably BGAK looking to play proactively around their Ashe and Nami again, much like they did with the Olaf.
Yep. I even think here was it we can afford more ganks to the top side with
Hmm.
the Hecarim locked down
Yeah.
with a few from Garen to silence into the spin, Hecarim pulling them
Hmm.
back. And it's going to be important for
TSM
TSM.
picking Ornn top. Once again, it would seem going for scaling and late game presence.
Mm. I think here their team fight is actually slightly more favored because again, if they can get to that late game option, you have Aura, you have Fiddlestick, you have Xayah, serious late game threats, augmented by the ability to have the Ornn items to give them extra damage, extra stats across the board that Begak just cannot have.
Plus, that's 5 AoE CCs from TSM.
Mm.
So that could be a potentially very strong uh, team comp
Yep.
if they all land.
I really do think that in this instance, the bot lane of Begak is favored. Each solo lane for Begak, save mid early because of the Cassidon not having like the range advantage against the Orianna. Each lane
Mhm.
for Begak is slightly favored, but then as a whole team fight, once you put it together, TSM should be favored. So I'm interested to see if Begak tries to get themselves ahead so they can team fight, or if they decide to take the laning phase, get as much as possible, and instead of doing the team fights, funnel into the Cassidon to attempt to do pick comp, like just with the Cassidon.
Also, I wonder whether in this game the Fiddlesticks will be able to get onto Begak's backline. Last game that ended up being a huge issue that the Ashe did not get shut down until relatively late in the game and generally stayed out of fights, supplying damage from the sidelines. But
Mm.
Fiddle can hopefully pull off some backline dives this time and turn that around.
I think between Braum Orn, they can scatter the team enough, like amidst the chaos for Phil to go in, and we could also see the Ori ball on Fiddle followed by the Fiddle ult into the backline with the Ori ult on top. Interested to see how that would play out.
Mhm.
Okay, we're just waiting for them to get into their game now. Um, okay, but yeah, I really do think that this is again TSM fight favored, team fight favored, lots more so than first game. They did have strong picks in the Jax being able to 1v1, the Annie being able to pretty much blow up anyone she wanted. But now this looks like they're trading some of those lane pressures individually for the better of the team.
Yeah. Also, worth noting the Xayah, um, not quite a comparable laning phase to the Jhin. So if the Ashe is able to take over again, she'll be more difficult to shut down safely in the way that the Jhin can. Because Xayah
Yes,
does have to get a little closer.
yeah, but I think and to be fair, on the flip side with Xayah, she can be deadly in lane in her own right. As was it? As a certain Xayah one trick once told me, you got to be aware of the feathers.
That's very
If the
true.
Ashe does not mind those feathers, she could see herself in some serious trouble early game, and that might be enough to tip it in favor of the Xayah and Braum.
That is true, though. Again, she does have the Nami support, which is just a lot of healing and shielding.
Yes, most definitely. I think in this it comes down to if Braum Xayah can initiate more often and get like the all ins, they win. But if Nami Ash can like stay safe, only go for minor trades and just heal up, they have better resources to out sustain the lane. Mm.
That is true. Um, Much like the Nautilus, the Braum purely builds, or he purely provides tanking and CC rather than heals and shields and sustain that the Nami can bring.
Yep. I think was it another thing to probably look out for is probably the Garen pick. I'm wondering if it was a we don't know what we're seeing, let's choose something relatively safe, or if they're actually confident in saying let's use Garen as a win con and like try to funnel kills into him to have him do the classic spin to win that we all love.
That is true. And you played against Bagak's top laner. I have not. Do you know if Garen is a typical comfort pick for them?
I actually am not aware because thus far we have not seen the Garen pick. I think it's a very interesting thing that was it we should note that was it Garen has not been picked for any of these teams thus far in the tournament, at least to my knowledge. And I think part of that is it's a very do or die champion. If you get ahead,
Mhm.
you are that like 1v5 machine just spinning to shred everybody. But if you fall behind on Garen, you don't really offer much to the team in the way of like, Pantheon being a CC bot, Nar being a CC bot and a split push. Like Garen kind of just has to be in the thick of
He
it.
has damage and an obscene amount of tankiness, but yeah, like you said, no utility. And they did blind pick him. He can be relatively abused by some ranged matchups.
Mm. What I'm looking for here with the Ornn is abusing, like you said, the range, the
Hmm.
the spamming on the Q pillar, the Bellows breath, tickling the Garen, being used with the Ornn's Grasp of the Undying proc to get like significant damage in a one hit burst, as well as healing the Ornn and keeping him, in lane. I think both champions are comparable in their sustain. Garen, if not taking damage, can heal large amounts of his health, whereas
That's
Ornn
true.
can flat out build items in lane because not broken at all.
Especially since Garen will most likely bring Conqueror, and because his E procs multiple hits in the same spin, he can stack Conqueror very, very quickly, meaning he's relatively favored if the Ornn tries to take an extended trade, because
Mm.
Grasp lends itself better to short trades.
Yep. I think it all comes down to how he plays the Ornn. If he does want to, go in for the all-in trades, I'm gonna kill you. He's gonna have to deal with the Garen. But if he can just play back safe, typical of how an Ornn would want to play, I think this lane is rather Ornn favored unless we have intervention from the jungler.
Hmm.
Okay. Was it
Which
they
again,
going to?
because it's a Hecarim jungle, that's certainly very possible. Hecarim can be all over the map.
Is the greatest enemy.
Hecarim is in multiple places at one time. He is a very fast boy. You must always fear. Was it as my fellow support has once told me? You must always fear the horse that went into the jungle or the moose that went into the jungle and got fed. I think you can compare them. Basically the same thing. Yeah, basically. But yes, was it to your point? Hecarim, if he gets fed, is going to murder this game because that ultimate combined with the ability to knock back key members into your team can only was it bring the BGAK closer to the victory. And
I was
combine that with
thinking
the late.
specifically with Fiddlesticks, the Hecarim's E and Ultimate can push out the can break the Fiddle's channel.
Mm, yes. That's also a big thing, making sure the
Yeah.
fiddle doesn't just sit there and suck your entire team dry of its health.
Hmm. That disruption is very key going against the Fiddle, and if again, like you said, if the Hecarim gets fed, can be a very strong point in the favor of BGAK.
Most definitely. I would be interested to see, however, if they can play around this Cassidon, because like we said,
Hmm.
last game, mid lane took a very late game scaling champ in the form of Vladimir. Cassidon, I think, is comparable to Vladimir in terms of late scaling, but suffers a little bit in the early game. He doesn't have the ability to pull like a Vladimir to just dodge damage. He doesn't have the ability to, click
Hmm.
any minion or enemy champion lane and heal off of, which I think is going to be a major drawback here, as the
Yeah.
Orianna can just abuse the Cassidon by poking with auto attacks and the ball setup.
And Vlad being a late game scaling pick was very nearly a liability for BGAK. TSM's mid laner is on Orianna, which is obviously not as much of a one shot, one kill threat as the Annie, but the Annie was very dominant in the early game last time around. So we'll
Most
see, because once again they are on a late game scaling mid laner.
definitely. I predict that with this lane will go heavily in the favor of Orianna pre six. Post six is going to start to kind of equalize out until the Cassidon can start either a roaming or solo killing the Orianna. Meanwhile, the lanes should be matched bot lane because again, it's a sustain versus an all in. Depends on which team can get their lane to be played out the way they want. And then Garen versus Ornn, I think actually goes in the favor of the Ornn because as long as he doesn't take super long trades with the Garen as Conquer stacks, he should be able to just build his items, CS safely until level 13, and then start giving out Ornn items to people.
And if the patterns from last game hold true, top lane ended up being very stale, solidly farming lane, even with a Jackson and Darius, whereas
Mhm.
bot lane ended up having a lot of ganks, a lot of roams from mid, and a lot of all-ins from both
Yeah.
sides.
But the problem
So,
is I don't think you can do that this game. If you take
mhm.
the stale, CS-oriented lane, I think Ornn is perfectly happy to take that.
Yeah, exactly. That was my point. That in
Mm.
in that situation, the Ornn will be very happy to just farm it out, whereas the Garen almost has to engage to get that lead, or else, like you said, the Ornn will outscale him in tankiness and utility, as well as providing those upgraded items to his team.
Yeah. Never minding the fact that, Garen fighting into Ornn, the different levels of tankiness, whatever. Ornn, once he hits that 13, I feel like that's the benchmark. He hits that,
Mhm.
he gets an influx of around 3,000 gold's worth of stats between the two Ornn items, provided he's going the standard Abyssal Mask and Sunfire Cape. But after that, like, just what he provides to the team is it's just insane in the form of, gold, in the form of face tanking for his team, in the form of a disruptive ult that runs down the
Mhm.
river essentially for these
Mhm.
fights.
The other notable thing is TSM this round has a little bit more of a front line between Braum and Ornn, which, like we saw last night, allowed them to take a team fighting front to back comp with the five of them grouping together.
Mhm.
BGAK, on the other hand, has some front line in terms of the Garen, but is more looking towards dives with the Hecarim and Cassidon.
Yep, definitely. And I think it's a matter of can they execute that? If
Mhm.
they want the dive, but they get body blocked by the Ornn and the Braum, it's not happening. But if they can
Right.
successfully get over Ornn and Braum, I think that's a clean cut win for Bagak in that team fight. Hecarim Fear with Cassidon damage on top.
So deciding these team fights, I expect, will likely come down to whether the Ornn and Braum can manage to keep those backline divers off of the Zaya and Oriana. Because if they allow Zaya and Oriana to stay up long enough to do their thing, that could be pretty disastrous for Bagak.
Most definitely. I think it is worth noting, however, that while Ash is favored in this lane, in the trades with the slows, the sustain, the poke, Zaya does have the ability to ult if she herself is in danger. Meaning, if somehow Cassidon and Hecarim get to the backline, there is always the chance that Zaya could, time her ult to dodge the Hecarim ult and like make a sick outplay by pulling the feathers in, saving herself and rooting somebody for the rest of her team to tear up.
Mhm. Also notably, Zaya will be better at spontaneous all-ins as she has three abilities plus her ult to play with, whereas Ash's only immediately available and useful abilities her W. Her E is team vision utility, and her Q doesn't come on until she can get some attack speed built into her items and get those multiple frost stacks.
Yep, most definitely. I do
So
think was it that does mean she is favored in the lane though, like being able to spam that W.
mhm.
And I think here it would be interesting because I could see the Essence Reaver build, have to spam it in lane. Was it we have to poke them out, like that's how you win lane. But at the same time, was it there's an Ornn, there's a Braum. Blade of the Ruined King is a very strong item here.
That's true.
And like
And
we saw last game, I think either one would be good, but I would like to see the Blade of the Ruined King first. But that's just me.
it would certainly help whittle down the Braum and make laning phase very unpleasant for him, as his E has a pretty long cooldown.
Yep. And I think if she does go Blade the Ruined King, getting that Vampiric Scepter, getting the Bilgewater Cutlass first, can really help with their whole, we're just going to out sustain you in lane. Because then she has on hit lifesteal.
Hmm.
Okay, we are loading into the Rift right now. We're getting set for the second game of what I'm hoping at least to be a 3-game series, so we can get to see one more game of these two teams duking it out. Right now, Bagak is favored to TSM 1-0, and we're on the Rift.
Yep. Looks like we got Hecarim heading towards his blue, potentially to ward. Fiddle also heading that direction.
Hmm.
Last game in the Twitch chat, some people were commenting on Fiddle's start. We'll see if he holds true and does that same start again or picks for something different.
Okay. We have Orange starting in the top lane. We have Hecarim. It looks like he's
laying his ward and backing, it would seem.
Yep. It looks like Garen's covering for the blue buff. Orange is walking.
And that's a TSM side invade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We do have in the tri-bush the bot lane of BGAK.
And I don't think anybody has realized, since they have no vision of TSM having walked in. Kassadin wandering around. Yes, Kassadin spotted them out, but with Ashe and Nami starting in the tri-brush for a 4 of 5 point start, that could have gone unnoticed.
I'd like to point out the fact that near the red buff, TSM has placed 2 wards, an effigy from the fiddle, which now gets taken down, but also a ward near the bush next to the raptor pit. They'll be able to see if Hecarim does the raptors, or if he goes over to the blue side to take his blue, and if he doesn't cross over at a certain time, they know that he might have gone to his Krugs. So I feel like this provides a lot of information for early tracking the jungler on the side of the game.
And Hecarim having into his Krugs, that also gives Fiddle some leeway. He has his red warded against an invade from the Hecarim.
Yep, I think they're just by knowing that he didn't cross over this ward to Raptors or beyond, they know Hecarim's down here now.
As expected, Garen has prio top, gets the early shove on Ornn, currently zoning him off of farm.
Ooh, he's going in for a trade with Ornn. Nope, size the better of it.
Yep, Garen gets that early level 2, the Ornn has to back off. Bot lane, it seems like Xayah and Braum are shoving in the wave.
Hecarim is just inspired out.
Push going, yep. Hecarim spotted on TSM's ward by Raptor Pit. Both junglers have level 3 and are heading towards their topside jungles.
It looks like Kassadin might be struggling a bit in this matchup. He did miss some CS. Is still up against the Ori, surprisingly. I think this Kassadin is playing really well considering he's at a range disadvantage here. Has the fleet footwork like most Kassadins to just be able to survive that early phase. We have TSM pushing up into BGAK, but it looks like BGAK might be going all in. Nope, short trade.
Okay. Garen is once again standing very far up, hard shoving the wave, using his E and Q on the minions. He's definitely generating a mild CS lead, but he is leaving himself fairly vulnerable to ganks, especially with the Fiddle's easy to execute fear.
Yeah, I do like this positioning from him, though, because he knows that Hecarim is on the top side of the map, and if need be, Hecarim heals off that red buff, heals off his potion as he runs up, and then could potentially dissuade him against the Fiddle.
And Garen is leaving lane to ensure that Hecarim gets topside scuttle.
See, this
Fiddle and Hecarim have been parallel to each other. That means Hecarim could very potentially get both scuttles. Layup looks like he's heading for that bot scuttle now.
Yep. I think it's going to be a race. It's going to be between, the Fiddle, and it's going to be between the Hecarim. And there's already pings coming down on the Fiddle. Not sure if they see the Fiddle, or they just feel like he's in the area and wondering if he's going to come down to contest the second scuttle. Hecarim does get to the scuttle first, though. This might be a double scuttle.
Fiddle is in the area, and since Ori has lane prio, it looks like they're going to try to force him off of it, which succeeds.
Yep. Fiddle now has a control of the scuttle. It's going to be a 1-for-1 scuttle trade, so not the biggest of deals. It's now evened. It's evening the pressure that both junglers are exerting. They're even in farm.
And they're both using their natural extreme sustain to just keep farming their jungler. Keep farming their jungles and try to get that item advantage on the other.
Most definitely. The Garen does have temporarily a level advantage. It'll probably be closed up real soon. Yep, there it is. Like we said, the Ornn is favored if he can just CS and stay back. And it doesn't look like he's taking any too big trades. Like Garen is getting kind of low from the poke from Ornn. Doesn't look like he's being baited in to fight the Garen.
Feather pull from Xayah did not land a stun on the Ashe. It looks like the two lanes are fighting. Braum's shield and TSM is dishing it.
There he goes. He's out.
Yep. I did not know this before. I have no idea if this is how Fiddle is played or not, but he seems to have bought and now laid a control ward in mid instead of pots. I don't know if that's Fiddle's typical build path.
Interesting. I'm not sure if he forgot to get his items, maybe didn't have enough gold to get the item, or if he just wanted to save for a big item spike and put down a control ward, like just to keep his laner safe.
Yep. Again, I do not know how Fiddle is played, so I can't
Fiddle
see
is making
Twitch
a
chat
pass
at the moment, but who knows? Yeah,
Interesting.
Fiddle shadowing bot as Xayah gets back to lane. Braum not back to lane yet. Ori is back and likely to reset before Dragon. Ornn has bought 2 ruby crystals. I'm not sure what he's building into there, but
looks like he might be health stacking to get his Grasp the Undying procs off, healing
that
more.
is true.
We have Garen just annihilating the waves here. It's gonna keep
losing a couple CS from bringing so many minions low at once.
And there we go. Kassadin now has his level 6 and does have a fighting chance against the Orianna. He is low on mana, however, so he's probably going to have to use his W to sustain off the wave.
Hecarim pulling behind the Orianna. His gank does not go off despite the fact that he has a Sheen, which is his early power spike item. It looks like they're trying to set up around Dragon by getting that mid prio, and Fiddlesticks is farming his prugs on the top side of map. Looks like he's backing now. He has not yet bought any items.
Oop, bot lane might be baiting into a fight here.
Xayah and Braum pushing towards Dragon, likely trying to ward BGAK off.
It doesn't look like they're going to be able to, though, because they do have mid prio and they do have Hecarim in the area, but Hecarim's going to choose not to go to the Dragon. I'd like to take this moment just to point out, the success of that Hecarim gank. Yes, Ori flashed and got away. Yes, Ori did not get killed, so there's no, gold generated there. But again, Ori's flash is now down versus a Kassadin that has level 6, who still has his flash, by the way. So now Kassadin has multiple ways to get on top of this Orianna and kill her in the lane. And a return gank could also push it over the edge.
And when Hecarim took his Raptors and red buff just a moment ago, he got level 6 to the Fiddle, just getting 6 now off of his Romp and blue buff. So there are no team fights yet, and they'll both have 6 now with Fiddle for a team fight, which looks like it could be happening around bot. But the Hecarim does have a bit of an early farm lead because of, again, that move speed, the map presence.
Fiddle is walking down towards the bot lane.
A potential dive.
He's seen an award. Ashe?
Just fighting around Vision at the moment, it looks like. Fiddle gets the fear on Ashe. And there's the Hecarim ult.
Fiddle gets out. Braum is being pushed.
Braum makes it out with the shield and his W.
Xayah has to flash. Braum is forced to flash. I think Braum might die here.
Braum is dead, yeah.
Braum is dead. That's
first blood goes to the Nami. Nami carry.
Interesting. Yep, we saw the
Kassadin
in last game.
Kassadin tried to push in the Orianna, but looks like he's getting shoved back now. She's maintaining the lane, though she is down 75 CS. She's down 20 CS, 75 to 55.
Yeah.
Which puts her at a bit of an item disadvantage.
Most definitely. I do like, the Kassadin's flash was blown there by the Ori ult. I don't think it's too big of a deal, considering Kassadin does have that ultimate.
Hecarim, it seems Fiddle is not going to contest Dragon. He tried and decided with the Nami shadowing it was not worth it to go in.
Most definitely. I do think it would be wise for Hecarim to come back to the mid lane, as you do want to get this Kassadin snowballing, and Ori's flash is still down for what looks to be about 2 minutes, give or take.
Shoved wave and back, bought 2 daggers. Like you said, rushing down the board, probably to deal with the Braum.
Most definitely.
She and Xayah are relatively even on CS, but again, she got that assist to the Nami's kill.
Yeah. I think in that situation, you just give up on playing 80 Ashe, you build some support items, you have Nami build the Bork, and you just snowball the lane from there.
Hey, I am terrified of an Infinity Edge on Nami.
Yo, all hail
Fiddle spotted out around topside with a control that he just cleared.
Looks like Ashe might be going in on them. She's got the slow. Tagging with the auto slows. There's the Braum ult to dissuade any
Fiddle going mid. He misses his ult on the Kassadin, and the Kassadin
I think Kassadin gets out by just ulting over the wall. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, both ultimates used by BGAK. An excellent Xayah ultimate to avoid them. Ashe is being tagged by the Braum passive.
Braum is dead.
Braum is dead.
And Xayah is dead.
The Xayah is dead. Double kill for the Ashe.
The Ashe slow. They just can't escape it.
Yes, I'm very impressed by the way that they're playing this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay,
but
looks like
BGAK's Ashe has been a strong point in both games and is now once again getting fed
yep.
at
I
2-0
do
and
think
1.
it would be good if the fiddle came down, gave a little bit of attention to the bot lane, tried to put that
Mhm.
Ashe down before she became, another monster like the first game.
Yep. It looks as though he's trying to farm towards his jungle item. Perhaps because he got so behind last game, he's taking advantage of the fact that he's not being invaded. He did not fully complete his Krugs, though. Looks like he's going to perhaps back up the Orianna and stop the Kassadin's back, since Kassadin is backing on a control ward.
Ooh. Oh, nope. I guess he chooses not to. I think it would have
Nope.
been worth to interrupt that back, make it so that he backs out.
Hecarim sweepering into river, clears out Fiddle's effigy, and it looks like they're going to contest Herald, but Fiddle has Orianna backing him up. And
He's being pushed to the top side where Garen has the prio, and Fiddle is. I think Fiddle dies here. Doesn't even need the Garen.
The
ultimate from Hecarim, though.
Yep. The Orianna put out her ball, but it was not enough to save the Fiddle.
Yeah. I think Ori should have either A, rotated first, or B, Fiddle probably shouldn't have been there in the first place, having seen Hecarim there.
Or backing. He did not take part in that fight. It looks like he wanted to shove the wave and deny Garen this cannon, which he succeeded in doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A cannon and
Braum shadowing Ori mid, but looks like Bagak got vision of him with a control in river.
Yep.
Oh, he stopped his back a few times now.
Yeah.
The Orianna does not have the auto attack set up to get off Braum's stun mid necessarily. He'll probably be relying on Xayah to pull that. At this point into the game, 12 and a half minutes, there's a 3k gold lead in favor of Bagak and 4 kills up to none.
Yep. Okay, Garen's going in for a trade on the Ornn. He procs the Conqueror.
And Nami and Hecarim both invading the Fiddle. Looks like he's caught out and will probably die. Oh, there's the Braum ult, trying to peel and disengage, but nope.
Fiddle dies here. I think if he gets onto him, there's the Nami ult. Oh, but now they're surrounded.
Nami bubble catches
ult from the Xayah. Was it?
Yep.
Hecarim might go down here. Hecarim does go down here. Xayah is still hitting. Ashe goes down. No, she doesn't. She goes down to the Xayah in the end. Oh my god, the feathers. We talked about them, If you don't respect the Xayah feathers, you will die.
And since Fiddle went down and Braum went down for TSM, and Ashe, Nami, and Hecarim went out for BGAK, that ended up being a 3-for-2 in favor of TSM, especially with the dragon about to be up. Yep. That's a solid chunk of change right for that fight.
That those kills went on, I believe, Ori and was it Xayah? In addition to
Xayah got 2 of them, and the Ori got 1.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the people you want the gold on. Ori got solo killed by the Kassadin.
All in.
Wow, yeah, this is the power of the Kassadin. He's now level 11, the ultimate. He can basically jump the Ori and just pop her right there.
He also has a 40 CS lead on the Orianna. He's been forcing her out of lane pretty much this entire game, and she has not gotten any support from her jungler or Braum. Braum has had his hands full keeping Xayah safe in the bot lane. Hecarim looks to be playing around Dragon. Ashe establishing vision all the way up the river.
I think this is really crucial. The fact that Garen has been able to push Ornn in with every single wave and then rotate for some fights, be there to do stuff for his team. Whereas Ornn, he has to catch the wave. If he goes to these fights, he loses out on golden EXP, which as an Ornn, you're probably already going to be behind a little bit.
Second dragon goes to BGAK. It is an Infernal Soul, which given that BGAK has a damage-oriented team is a lot.
Hecarim decides not to go in for the gank. He's going for the scuttle instead.
Yep.
We have a good CS differential in the jungle in favor of BGAK. A CS differential in the mid in favor of BGAK.
Yep. And it looks like Xayah and Braum trying to get a shutdown on the Kassadin. Not a shutdown, he doesn't have money shutdown.
This is the Kassadin right here. You can't catch
him out. With the magic damage shield coming in, he really did not take much damage there, but he did use his ult.
Yep. I would like to... Oh, wait. Nami might be caught out here. Nope, she bubbles to safety. Was that Nami's flash there? Yes, it was. That was Nami's flash. So now the support is down flash. They're pushing into the mid turret right now. Ori's here with the Ashe, and I do think this could get dangerous real fast for the Ashe if she doesn't respect the ball. It looks like that's go off for the time being.
Ornn and Garen are fighting underneath the Ornn's tower. Garen is just tunneling that tower. He's going to get first turret.
Yep.
Because
and he probably is going to
second turret. Yeah. Because and the Ornn gets the kill.
Whoa, the execute from the Garen.
Yep. That true damage cuts right through the Ornn's armor. He didn't have enough health built.
I'm actually very impressed that that Garen just decided to sack the turret there. Like, to be in a position to take the turret that fast, he must have been pushing like every single wave into the turret.
And that'll most definitely be his Triforce on back.
Yep, most definitely.
Yep.
He's already got 2 pieces of it in a little of a third. Garen is now on the second turret. Oh, is taking turret shots, so he is being dissuaded from continuing.
And none of TSM has headed top to stop that, but Garen looks to be going mid, flanking around behind, perhaps going for another turret dive and quick turret capture.
Yeah, and he is nope, he decides against it. He's healing up. Hecarim has spotted out the Fiddlesticks. He might kill him here.
Yep, that's just a quick kill for Hecarim.
Yep, it goes over to the Ashe.
Oh, the Ashe ult.
Braum is getting killed by, Garen. Yep. Gets Ashe stunned, and Garen on top of him, and Garen gets the kill.
Yep, the Garen Q just melts the towers. That's his second turret.
Hecarim is diving on Ori.
Ulting under tower.
Nice.
His phase rush not enough to get him out of turret.
It's a
Ori does take him out.
In favor of BGAK, since now they have the ability to push down the mid turret since Ori is no longer there. It's up to Ornn and Xayah.
And they have an almost 8k gold lead. Once again, that's just incredibly hard to come back from. Ashe caught out though by the Ornn.
Oh, that is really
Xayah
good.
Perhaps.
Xayah might die. Yeah. It looks like the Ashe.
Xayah on a killing spree.
And
do they get the Nami? The Ornn is chasing. Yep, that is the Ornn's first kill on the board. Very much catching up. That certainly closed the distance a little bit.
Yeah. Again, I think this game is looking very BGAK favored. But if they make these small mistakes, not respecting the Xayah feathers, not respecting the CC and damage from the Ornn,
Also, the Ornn is level 12. He'll probably be level 13 in the next few waves topside, which leaves him in a strong position because, like you said, that influx of gold value from his upgraded items. Yep, catching that full wave. There's his 13 and his upgraded Forge Fire cape. He does not yet have his Abyssal Mask, but he's not far off either.
Kassadin is taking the Scuttle Crab topside. More gold in the pocket of the Kassadin. Always welcome. We have some item completions coming in. We have Archangels on the Kassadin with Rod of Ages. We have Triforce on the Garen. We've got Blade Rune King and a Zeal item on the Ashe. They are starting to hit their critical item power spikes where they can start taking over this game, abusing that 8k goal lead that they have.
Yep. And BGAK starting the Scuttle, looking to probably push more towers than they've already taken, though there is a dragon up very soon.
Ashe with the arrow. Ori is trying to get away. Kassadin is flanking.
Looks like he may just be zoning as the Garen and Hecarim take that Herald. And both of them, because they have those Triforce with the Sheen procs, can take it very quickly.
Meanwhile, Xayah over here is in the bot side, pushing out the bot tower. She's collected all that gold.
From clearing out vision around Dragon.
Yeah, I think this is a good position. They want to stop the snowball of Drakes from BGAK because they did force them to soul point in the last game. So I think having the bot wave going in their favor and taking that tower allows them to execute a little more pressure on the Drake. BGAK is coming in to clear their vision, however, so we'll see how effective their vision line was in the end.
BGAK seems to have taken control of Baron Pit, and Garen is zoning the Ori off of joining, as is the Ashe now. Neither team seems to want to fully commit at the moment. They're just poking each other out. Oh, but there is Xayah starting up the dragon with a...
Yep, Hecarim is Rift-Tailed in the mid lane. So they either take this dragon fight or answer the Rift-Tailed in the mid. Something has to be done. The disruptor Ornn!
Yeah, that really put him in a bad position. He did not get his ult off, which puts BGAK in a very strong fight. He also missed his knock-up on the Ashe. He cut it away from the wall very...
There's Ashe's arrow. Ashe is kiting back. Meanwhile, the Rift is charging down mid lane with Garen.
Yep. They are getting a turret and an inhib off of this, it looks like.
Ooh,
Even though their team has to fight 4v5, Ash still gets a double kill.
Ooh, this is looking like a team fight for BGAK.
And yep,
Ori is
BGAK
getting away.
also takes out the Ornn. It's just the Orianna running away, but I don't think she makes it away with that Hecarim E.
Yeah, Hecarim's going in on her.
And Garen gets the inhib and starts pushing
is
Nexus turrets.
I think that's game. That is an ace for BGAK.
Yep.
TSM is all down. Their inhibitors, their inhibitor was
Saying
taken.
GG in chat.
Yep, the GG.
Garen puts out a little bit of BM easy.
Wow. No, Braum is up. This might not be the end. Zayas is up in 1. Fiddle is up in 1. They might be able to hold on to their last turret here. Yes, they're going to push them off. So it's not game over yet.
There is a Baron up that could make a very easy win condition for BGAK, or potentially turn it around for TSM.
I am fairly I'm questioning the fight they took there, because obviously you have the Rift Herald in mid. You don't want them to get Drake, but the alternative, like we saw, is to lose, you know, was it 3 turrets, an inhib, and almost lose your second Nexus.
Though at the same time, Garen was pushing. It was 4v5. They did have a strong chance of winning, and if they had succeeded that team fight, it could have turned it around. There goes Infernal Soul for TSM. The Ash arrow flies by. No targets hit. Garen pushing out top to just, again, keep increasing that gold lead. Almost 10,000 gold now.
Yep, was it exactly like 9.3? It was really close. Yep. They are snowballing this game. I really do think it's a matter of, like, the teams need to respect each other's, you know, potentials. Not respecting the Xayah feathers gets you killed. Not respecting the all-in potential of a Kassadin on your squishies gets you killed.
And again, like you said, I don't think the disruption on the Ornn can be emphasized enough. If TSM had landed that full Ornn ult, as they might right now,
Ash gets caught out by
the knock-up on the Ash. That's key to winning the team fight.
Layering. That is a dead ADC. 4 ults expended, and the support goes down shortly. Now we have to see.
Kassadin almost level 16, farming up in bot lane. He could become that unstoppable late game threat within the next minute or so.
Okay, we have him pushing into the turret. Everyone is backing off, given that, like, you know, that fight just happened. Kassadin is getting some pretty decent damage on this turret.
Though the
might take it.
Entirety of TSM is pushing in on him. He has his ultimate to get away, but yep, he is out.
There is no chance that they get this, man. And Garen is pushing in the top lane. It looks like this is the strategy, you know.
Ornn continuing to push the Kassadin as Kassadin farms up. He is pretty much at his late game carry power spike, stopping the Ornn's back potentially. Nope. But if TSM wanted to shut down the Kassadin, it should have been 10 minutes ago.
Honestly, I do like what BGAK is going here for, though. They're going for a 1-3-1 comp, you know, have Garen split the top lane, have Kassadin split the bottom lane, and then have the rest of the members of BGAK group in the mid lane. And as
Garen
you can
is
see,
pulling quite a bit of pressure, like you saw. He brought Ornn, Fiddle, and Orianna topside.
And then again, Kassadin, you cannot solo kill the man, you cannot catch the man. But if you let him have the lane, he will keep pushing it in. So what do? You got to answer him. So then Garen just comes in the top lane, and he's like, okay, you got to answer the man too.
I expect Kassadin will catch this wave and then grab Fiddle's blue buff, which, again, more mana for him. That lets him just spam his ult more. He's got his level 16. That's really huge on him. Yep, he is going for that blue buff. As Ash, Nami, and Hecarim clearing out vision around Baron, they are starting it. They are going for that game-ending push. And with Kassadin and Garen on the map, it doesn't look like TSM are in a position to contest them yet. They do have to run Garen off of top.
I think they can fight. That's a Rabadon's death cap purchase for Kassadin.
Yep. Kassadin TPing in the bot side, diving the Fiddle under tower. Fiddle Zanyas, which chase the Kassadin off, but nope, the level 16 Kassadin cannot be denied.
Okay, we have a fight breaking out around Baron. It is a 3v4, however. I don't think
TSM pushing BGAK off of Baron, but then in turn taking damage.
Oh my god, the Garen damage.
Yep.
And that is the bot lane down. Ori's going to follow shortly.
And with the Hecarim flanking around behind, getting onto TSM squishies, that is not what you would want to see.
Honestly, I think this can probably be game. It is now.
Yep, that is the push to end.
They're pushing in the mid lane to end. Cassian is taking the inhibitor. They don't even need
TSM's Orn backed, but I don't think he will be enough given the diving levels of BGAK. BGAK diving into Fountain with the Cassidy. High levels of BM here.
Honestly, wait, you turn around from the Orn ult and the ult.
And the inhibitors come up. The BM might cost them. Oh no!
Oh my God, that is twice there tonight. Up, but the inhibitors are down now.
And there is the series. Yeah.
Wow.
Finals, which for those of you who may not have been involved in the tournament thus far, means they will get custom T-shirts with their summoner names on them, I believe. Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts, Nicholas?
I'd just like to congratulate BGAK on a very well played series. Game 1, really good execution in getting their bot lane ahead. Game 2, really good playing around, recognizing that Cassidy and Garen will win conditions, splitting up the rest of the team to force them to have to answer at different points and get slowly picked apart. Again, congratulations, BGAK. You are the first Swarthmore Intramural champions.
Yep, good. All right. Thank you, everyone, very much for coming by and listening.
Yep, we hope to see you guys soon and supporting us.